Okay, welcome to the September 20th call, and we're going to be talking about the Power Hour. This is how pretty much all successful coaches run their business. They have an organized, managed list, and so I wanted to go over a few things first. We have announcements. I don't know if you guys saw, but in your back online office, there we go. They announced that there's a Shakeology podcast. So it's in the podcast app if you have an Apple, like an iPhone. And if it's the other one, I think it's called, starts with an S. I can't remember, whatever the podcast app is for Android, they also have it there. There's no picture on it, but as you can see, they've already got an episode up. It's called How is Shakeology Different? And it kind of talks about the differences between Shakeology and a protein shake. That one was only like 8.5 minutes. I'm not sure how long they're going to keep them, but they're going to be doing them about once a month. This is good stuff to like just keep you continually educated on Shakeology. Also, Summit trainings are available in your Coach Online office. You just go to News and Trainings, and then you can find them in the back office under Summit. And that includes all of the different workshops that we had. That's awesome, especially if you didn't get a chance to go to Summit. You can hop on and watch all of the Summit trainings. And if you were there, you can get, because we had 2 different tracks, you can get the opposite track. Even though a lot of the info was the same, some of it was a little bit different. I posted the one for Shakeology in our team page. And Shay Stanford did it, and Shay, as you all know, is like amazing and knows everything about Shakeology ever, I swear. Anyway, and she like added so much more good stuff, and I was really glad to get to listen to that one because I was a little bit disappointed in the other Shakeology training. So all of those are in there. There was like, I seriously took a whole notebook full of notes, like while we were in Summit, like that many notes, because everything that people said, I was like, oh, I got to write that down. It's just really good. If you get a chance to listen to them, even in the car, you may want to stop and then take voice notes because there's lots of good info in there. Upcoming events, we have the Emerald to Diamond training that started in Team BTFP. If you're interested in doing that, just let me know and you can hop right in. She did like a little prep thing for leaders this weekend, which you could always catch up on, but the real training starts on tomorrow. And then also, this is the last week of Coach Basics. If you are in the Coach Basics group, I have a challenge group that starts September 28th. That's going to be prep week. If you want in for your own personal accountability, just let me know and I'll add you in. And then I'm also going to start a 10-day to Emerald on the 28th, just rolling straight from Coach Basics into the 10-day to Emerald for anybody who's interested. I know we have a lot of new coaches that are jumping back on the bandwagon, like jumping on pretty hardcore, and they missed the 10-day to Emerald that Becca did. So I wanted to add onto it in case they wanted to go through. If you have personally sponsored coaches in our Coach Basics group, make sure to check with them and see if they wanted. I'm going to be doing a team-wide coach sneak peek on October 5th. So if you want to start like writing these dates down, if you want to start like probably 4 or 5 days before that, talking a lot about coaching and then mentioning the coach sneak peek if people are interested. This is a great way to grow your team and recruit some new coaches. And since I'm doing it, you'll just have to be active in the group, but you won't have the responsibility of posting. I'm potentially going to start a Coach Basics right after that on October 5th. The sneak peek would wrap up on the 8th, and so you would have all weekend to talk to them and get them signed up as a coach. And then if we have enough to run a Coach Basics group, then I'll run another one on the 12th for everyone. And then don't forget that we have the community group. If you signed up to post in there, please do. If you haven't already gone back and talked to all of your old customers, even your leads and stuff that Beachbody has sent you, I would definitely talk to them and then see if they want to be added to that group and add them in. Even if you're not scheduled to post that day, I mean, it's like a challenge group. Feel free to post. If you have something that's really good that you're posting online on your own wall that you think other people might be interested to know, go ahead and post it in there. I think it's always good to have more interaction. The more interaction, the better. As for Success Club right now, I wanted to congratulate Danny Whitten. I know she's not on here right now, but she has already locked in Success Club 12 this month. Pretty impressive. And then Jesse and I both have Success Club 5. And then we also have Devisha on the board with 4 points, Sam on the board with 2, and Stacy on the board with 2. We're only like halfway through the month, so you guys still have plenty of time. It's the 20th today. You have, 10 more days? Are there 31 days? Yeah. No, there's 30 days. So, wait, it's not. It is the 20th. Holy cow. 10 more days this month. It's like flying by. Okay, so now into the meat of our call. Most of you guys, I think, are familiar with the term a power hour. But for those of you that aren't, power hour is a hyper-focused, super productive period of time. It's when you don't let any distractions, anything steal your attention away. You don't like turn around to like talk to kids. I try to do it either when kids are napping or at night when they've gone to bed. It's time when I can like literally hone in and just focus on one thing. I listened to a Chalene Johnson podcast a while back that talked about focus and adult ADD. And she talked about how just by having like your phone in the room or having any kind of distraction, if somebody's talking, even if you're not intentionally listening to it, your brain automatically can't focus as well if there's something else going on in the room. And so I thought it was really, really, really interesting. She said that even just by having your phone, like me having my phone right here is a really dumb idea, according to her, because there's the potential of a notification coming in. And just through the potential of a notification, like my brain knows that it could possibly come in. And what's the first thing that we do whenever a notification comes in? Like we don't even think about it. It's like not even on our radar. It's it's like breathing. We don't even think about it, and we just like stop and look at the notification, even if we put it right back down. Like we just have to. And that little glimpse of the phone breaks your concentration. And I mean, I know we're not talking about life and death, surgery or anything here, but breaking that focus and attention. And I know this is true for me. Like it just causes the brain to like take a few seconds and insert any kind of thoughts. Like, I wonder what's for lunch, or shouldn't the kids be up for it by now? Like all these thoughts just start flooding in to your brain just by breaking that focused concentration. So in a power hour, you usually have an organized list of what to do and when to do it. There's your time is scheduled ahead of time. You don't take time out as part of your power hour. Like your first thing on your power hour list should not be make a power hour list or make a to-do list. Like that should be done ahead of time, and your time should already be blocked out ahead of time. No distractions. So turn off the phone, the TV, close Facebook, turn off Facebook notifications, all of that stuff. Anything that's going to ding or interrupt you. Even ask your spouse, or you can even ask your kids sometimes. And I know that with Kai it works. I can say, hey, buddy, mommy needs to work. I need you to go play for just a few minutes. Don't interrupt mommy. Whatever, unless you're bleeding, don't come and talk to me. And most of the time, he's pretty good about it. If they're younger than that, then obviously you need to plan your day around it. But why do we have a power hour? The first thing is so that you know your goals and you're focused on hitting those. I suggest that you sit down with your spouse and take a few minutes to just talk about your family's priorities, your values, and your goals. You may think that you already have a good idea of what your values are as a family, but just sitting down and getting your spouse's input a lot of times is a really great way to, one, bring them on board, and make them feel like they're a part of it as well, and help them to understand when you're devoting time that maybe they're home and they think should be their time. It'll help them understand why you're doing it, because you're working towards the goals that you guys set together. Also, just because one thing is a priority for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a top priority for your spouse. Or you may have talked about it in the past, but their priorities have changed since then. So it's just a good thing to, like, over dinner, at a date night, after the kids go to bed, whatever the situation is, when it's just you two, if you could just sit down and be like, hey, what do you think, like, what are our top goals that we're working towards? What are our priorities? Like, if we had to list them, and then make sure that you make those goals line up with your priorities. So if you say that, ministry and then, or family and then ministry and then Beachbody are your priorities, then don't put and invest all of your goals into Beachbody if that's not your top priority. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I hope that Beachbody is a big priority for you, but if it's not, you need to make sure that your goals are lining up with whatever your priorities are. And then rank them from the most important to the least important. That way, when you're creating your goals, you can stop and think about, like, okay, if this is most important, I need to make sure that I'm dedicating time to that. Make a schedule and ensure that you're honoring your priorities and scheduling any activities that need to get done for each. So what I like to do is I'll sit down for the week, on Sunday nights, and Josh and I have said that, like, date nights are a priority for us because we want to continually be investing in our marriage. And so if date nights are a priority, if I just wait for them to happen, they don't happen. We run out of money. We run out of time. We fill up our calendar with all kinds of activities, and it just doesn't happen. It's sad to say, but it's true. However, if I sit down and I say, okay, Friday night is date night, then I know all week whenever somebody says, hey, do you guys want to get together on Friday? No, we can't. We have date night. And then that also means that I'm not going to schedule work calls. I'm going to make sure that I'm taking that day off and honoring that as being one of my top priorities. My time with my spouse is super important to me because now that I do work Beachbody, we don't just sit around on the couch and watch TV all evening together. Most of the time, I do most of my work personally in the evenings because that's when I have dedicated, focused time. Josh can work on something else, or he can watch TV or play video games or do whatever he wants to do. And the kids are in bed, and so I can, like, actually think for a few minutes and do some focused work. Whereas if I try to do it during the day, typically not a lot gets done. I end up doing a lot more scrolling the Facebook and everything else and wasting my time. So make a schedule and make sure that you're honoring those priorities. If you say that your spiritual life is important to you, then you need to schedule in devotions. It may sound ridiculous to have to schedule these things in, but the fact of the matter is that if you don't schedule the things that are important to you, you'll let all the other things that aren't slip in, and then those things, your priorities slowly get bumped down the list. And then you feel bad, and it's a whole cycle. If you say spending time with your kids is important, then make sure you schedule in to read with your kids or do quality activities, and don't feel bad that, like, you are robbing time from something else. Like, know that that's dedicated time just for those things. If you say Beachbody is a priority in your life, then you need to be doing your 3 vital behaviors daily. You need to schedule those in. So, like, personally, I say that it's God, then my husband, then my children, then Beachbody, and then church ministry. And I say them in that order because my husband's are a little different. Church ministry ranks higher than Beachbody, obviously, and sometimes even than the kids, depending, because he knows that I'm going to meet those needs. However, and that's just for this period of time in our life. However, those are our goals. So that means that I have to make conscious effort to schedule those times in. So I schedule in the time that I'm going to have devotions. I schedule in when I'm going to get my workout, because heck no, that is not going to happen if I just try to let it happen. especially since I make excuses. I schedule in date nights. I schedule in when I'm going to do my ministry stuff and when I'm going to do my Beachbody stuff. And if it's a night, like Thursday nights are dedicated work nights for me. They always have been. They were the Team Beachbody, or I'm sorry, the Team BTFP call nights. And so ever since I first started coaching, I have just made that a dedicated work night because I was already on the call. So I just work before and I work after, and Josh knows all night on Thursday nights, that's a work night for me. And in fact, somebody today just came up to me and said, hey, you want to do dinner on Thursday night? I'm like, I'd love to. And they're people that we've been wanting to get a hold of and hang out with for a while, but I can't because that's a work night. And even though I make my own schedule, sometimes that's a blessing and a curse because you can easily just schedule everything else ahead of your business and then you never get where you're wanting to go. So if any activity doesn't honor your priorities or get you closer to your goals, then get rid of it, at least for now. I'm not saying forever, but for instance, I love to crochet. Like it's like a hobby and I love just sitting there watching TV and crocheting. Call me a little old lady. I really don't even care. But it's just like something that I really enjoy doing. And every once in a while, because I schedule nights off too, I'll schedule most Tuesday nights are nights off unless I have to work. But most of the time I try to take Tuesday nights off. So Tuesday nights are like my sit and veg on the couch and do minimal work. Like I'll do just my 3 vitals and that's pretty much it. And I might respond to some people on messages if I'm feeling up to it. But otherwise I'll just sit there on the couch. So those are the nights that I will sometimes crochet. But honestly, guys, in the last year, I think I've spent a total of less than 10 days crocheting, whereas I used to crochet like every single day. Do I love crocheting? Yes. Will it be a hobby later on in life still? Yes. But right now I'm working towards some important priorities and goals in our life. And we really want to pay down some student loan debt. And in order to do that, I have to honor my priority of paying down that debt by doing the things that will get me there, which is working on my business, helping build my team, recruiting new people, investing in my challengers. And so, sorry, crochet, sorry, yarn, you will sit there for a year and I'll get to you later. It's not goodbye forever. It's just goodbye for now. If you treat this business like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby. I know many of you have already heard this before, but it's so, so true. And if you treat it like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. If you treat Beachbody, if you say it's a priority and you're going to treat it like a business and then you treat it like you do, like I do crocheting right now, it's not going to pay you very much. If you just do it every, maybe one day a week or even twice a week, it's not going to pay you that much. Yeah, sure, it'll eventually grow if you continue at it because that's consistency and the compound effect, but it will take you much, much, much longer than if you act like it's a business and you show up every day. And I tell people I'm working on Thursday nights and they're like, don't you have your own business? And I'm like, yeah, I do. But that's a work night for me. I set it in my schedule and that's what it is. And so if I have to say no to things, then we reschedule those other things, just like you would if you had a job that you were supposed to be at. Being on Facebook does not necessarily mean that you're working. I know that's something that a lot of us get trapped into. I got trapped into it really bad when I first started working. I'd be like, man, I've been working for like 6 hours. But to be 100% honest, like probably a good 4 hours was me scrolling Facebook and like getting caught up, like looking at people's stuff and then being like, oh, I haven't seen her in forever. And what's she doing? And like, I would just get so sidetracked. And so I suggest you take a time audit. All this means is that you can do it for 24 hours or you can do it over a period of 3 days or a week. It just kind of depends on how thorough you want to be. But literally what it means is you wake up one day and from the moment you open your eyes, you write down what time it is when you wake up. And then I don't know how those lines are getting across the screen. That is super creepy. Can you guys see that? So weird. Because I didn't even move my mouse. Okay. Anyway, so I wonder if I change. Yeah, they're still there. Awesome. I'm going to stop share and then reshare. Hopefully that'll help. Share screen. Okay, can you guys see? No lines? Okay, perfect. So writing down what time you woke up in the morning, and then writing down every single thing that you do and how long it takes you to do it. Like eating breakfast and checking messages. That's, for instance, that's what I do while I'm eating breakfast, because I am not a morning person. I tell my kids not to talk to me. Kai comes up and like, da, 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 and I'm like, go eat your food. Like, I'm just not a morning person. And so he knows better, but he still does it. So while I'm drinking my coffee and eating my food, this is when I check all my messages from the night. So anything that came in overnight, I'll sit there and I'll read all the messages and get back to the ones that I can get back to really fast, and then mark the other ones as unread so I know to get to them a little later. But I will literally write down every single thing that I'm doing. Do it for at least 24 hours. From the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed. And then you can get a really good look at how much time you're spending doing what. If you're driving and just listening to music, then that's kind of wasted time. You could be driving and listening to personal development if you can't get it in any other time of the day, or listening to it while you're showering or getting ready in the morning, like while you're doing your makeup or hair. I don't know if you do those things. Clearly I don't. And so just it kind of helps you find the cracks in the day where you can fit in the things that honor your priorities. And then remember that consistency equals success. Continually doing power hour activities will create long-term success. You may not necessarily see it in a day. You may not necessarily see it in a week. But if you continually do it every single day, then you will see some long-term success. Basic power hour strategies. So there's no one size fits all. It's going to be different for every single person. Everybody's life looks little bit different. You guys aren't all stay-at-home moms. I know some of you guys have daytime jobs. Some of you guys work part-time jobs. Some of you guys work on the weekends, and others don't. And some are single moms, and some are married, and some don't have kids. So everybody's day looks a little bit different, and that's okay. There's no one power hour. I love and hate when they share power hours in the team groups. I love it because it gives you ideas of what things you can add into your day. But I hate it too because people just take it and think this is a formula. If I do these things, then I'm good. But they'll do it for 2 or 3 days and then they fail miserably because it doesn't fit into their life properly. So rank your list based on what's hardest for you. Take whatever list you end up coming up with of your daily activities that you need to do for your business, and then rank it based on what's hardest for you to accomplish, and depending on your daily schedule. So if you've ever read the book Eat That Frog, it's all about time management. And the biggest thing, it's based off of this quote from Mark Twain. I don't know it exactly. It's something like, if you eat a frog first thing in the morning, that's going to be the hardest thing that you have to do all day. So the rest of your day is going to go better from there, if that makes sense. So the idea is get the hardest thing for you to do out of the way first, because then you're not going to waste time thinking about it all day long and fretting about it while you're doing your other activities. That's human nature. I think we all do it. If we have 4 different chores to do, take out the trash, wash dishes, mop the floors, and clean the toilets. If clean the toilets is the thing that I hate to do the most, if I wait until last to do it, 9 times out of 10, I will find an excuse not to do it. I'm so tired because I did all of these other things. I don't really need to do it because I did these other things, so-and-so should have to do it. I will purposefully derail my activities and start finding other things for me to do. These toys need to be cleaned up, so I'll do this instead. You will naturally come up with excuses. So rank your list of what you do based off of whatever's hardest for you. So if you get that done first thing out of the way, then you'll be good to go. For most coaches, I've found that this is inviting. Nobody likes inviting. Everybody seems to be afraid of it. But the more you do it, the less you get afraid. So if you mark that as like the very first thing for you to do during your power hour or power hour segments, you're likely to get everything else done because it's easy peasy after that. So work in 3 to 15-minute segments. This can all be done at once or broken up throughout the day. There are a lot of coaches that just get up first thing in the morning and they do their power hour like first thing. They come, sit at their desk, and then they don't even turn on their computer. They like read their personal development and they do this and they do that, and like they have it how it works for them. And then when they do get on their computer, they go straight to like their online office. Like Facebook's the last thing they do because they don't want to get distracted. And that's great because that's how it works for them. However, not everybody's schedule works like that. Some people get up ridiculously early as it is. They're getting up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock already just to get their workout in and get ready for the day, get their kids ready, go to drop their kids off at daycare, go to work. Like you have all these things that you need to do before work in the morning. And so you don't have time to get up and do a regular power hour. And then by the time you get home and get the kids fed and get them in bed, you're exhausted and you go to bed early because you get up early. So you don't have time to do like a whole hour at night either while honoring the rest of your priorities. So you can still do a power hour and break it up into segments. Like you could say, okay, I have 10 or 15 minutes while I'm eating breakfast to do this number of things. And I have, some time during lunch instead of going to eat with my coworkers or going to celebrate a baby shower or going to do any number of things, go out to eat for lunch, whatever. I can bring my lunch, eat it at my desk, and do work that's going to get me towards my goals instead, and bust out another 20 to 25 minutes there. And then when you get home, focus on the last, 15 minutes or so. You can break it up any number of ways. As a mom, I know, I break mine up into about 10 minutes in the morning while I'm getting focused and ready for the day. Then I do probably a good 30 minutes or so, sometimes longer at nap time. It just kind of depends on how long he naps. And then I listen to my personal development in the car or while doing dishes because I'm not always in the car every day. When I'm going to go get Kai, I listen to it in the car. The days that Kai's home, then I listen to it while cleaning up and doing dishes because I kind of have a routine in the day too. Because my husband, I love him to death. He cooks and I'm so thankful for it, but he does not touch a dish to save his life. So I really hope he never listens to this call. So I end up doing all the dishes from the day before, all in like around 10 o'clock or so. And so I'll listen to it then, if not. And then I do the last 15 minutes and then everything else I want to do, because I always have a huge list outside of just my power hour of things that I want to get done, and I try to do those in the evenings. Again, we're itinerating missionaries, we're traveling, we're working at a church full-time still. I have kids, and there's obviously events in the evening. Like I have a lot going on too, and so my weeknights don't always look exactly the same. And that's okay. I just adjust it. That's kind of the beauty of the flexibility of our job. However, I know that if I didn't get to work on Monday and I'm not working on Tuesday, and Wednesday's church night, so I don't really work a whole lot on Wednesdays, then Thursdays I have a lot of work to do. And then that means that Friday, which is usually family day, I'm going to have to work. So I try to make sure that I'm working, in those evenings to balance it all out, even if I have to stay up late. Last night I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning. But I had to get the stuff ready for the call tonight, and I wanted to make sure it was good for you guys. So, anyway, you can break it up throughout the day or do it all at once. Basic elements that should be part of your power hour. This is everybody's power hour, no matter who you are. You may have other things that you add in there, or you may leave it exactly basic like this, but this needs to be in every single person's power hour. You have to check your messages. This is both in your Coach Online office from your leads. Your leads will email you. And so if they want to get a hold of you, they'll email you. So check your emails, check your messages on Facebook, and then if you are using any other kind of platform, make sure you're checking those too. Like IG has direct messages and, Instagram. And then make sure you're checking your regular email as well, your personal email, because sometimes I get like referrals from family and friends that have my email and they're like, hey, so-and-so, you need to talk to so-and-so. And so make sure you're checking all of those things. Make sure you check into your challenge group every single day. If you don't show up, then they're not going to show up. Invite to your challenge group or to be coaches. This is your inviting. Everybody hates it. They like to put it off. Do it. If you do it and get it over with, it's better. You can count both challenge groups and coaches. So if you're inviting 3 to 5 people every day, you could do 3 for challenge groups, 2 to coach, whatever. Whatever ratio you want to do. It kind of depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to hit Success Club for the month and get more challengers because you don't have very many right now, then obviously challengers are going to be the people that you're inviting. However, if you're doing a big recruiting push, you're going to be pushing for coaches. And usually coaches are going to sign up unless they've been a previous challenger. And a lot of times even then, but coaches are going to sign up with a challenge pack most of the time because it's just easier and it's free. So, and then follow up. Fortunes in the follow-up. You may have put something out there and somebody ghosted on you, or they just were busy and they missed your message. Make sure you're following up with people. Or perhaps you talked to somebody back in like February and they were really interested in PIO and now PIO's on sale. Make sure you're following up with those people. Hey, I know that it didn't really work for you back then. You didn't have the cash for it. I just wanted to let you know that it's on sale this month. Following up with those people, key. So make sure you're keeping a little list of who's wanting what, so that when these new challenge pack promos hit at the beginning of the month, this is easy ways to hit Success Club early, and not waiting until the last week or so. And then expanding your market. I know this is another part that's kind of hard for some people, but you definitely want to be adding new people on Facebook. I'm not saying go out there and just add random people. That's super creepy and weird. Invite people that you know, friends of friends that you met at a party once, people that you went to high school with, people in common interest groups that you're in, anything like that, people from church. Just, you can name storm. There's a memory jogger in the Coach Online office. I think I also put it, oh gosh, first page is here. I think I also put it in our files section, but memory jogger, it literally has 4 pages of things for you to think about, people where you might know them from, different clubs, finances, like bankers, all kinds of things. Like, it'll jog your memory and help you come up with those things, and you can search for people on Facebook. This also includes Instagram, all your other platforms as well. Don't feel like you have to do 3 in each one. Sure, it'll turbo boost you, but like if you're at least doing 3 people a day across the platforms, you're good to go. Sample Power Hour. So this is a common one. This is the one that I started with. And most of the time, this is the one that I follow. Sometimes I rearrange it. It just kind of depends on my day. Connect with 5 people from your friends list. This is just reconnecting, building new relationships. Don't say anything about Beachbody. This is essentially forming them. I don't like saying I form people. I think it's weird. I just start conversations with people. If they're friends with me on Facebook, it's for a reason. We know each other somehow. So I want to get to know them or reconnect with them. I just recently reconnected with a friend from, I went to her first grade birthday party and we were like really good friends in kindergarten and first grade, but we haven't hardly talked since then. But now she has a new little boy. So we have something of common interest to talk about again. And remember that Facebook affinity hugely relies on how much you're connecting with people. You may have 2,000 friends on Facebook, and that does not mean anything. Only 200 to 300 people could be seeing your stuff if you're only talking to 200 to 300 people or commonly interacting with them. So make sure that you're messaging people, you go and just reconnect with them on Facebook, and then it makes it easy to invite them later. And then send out 2 invites a day with at least 5 people per week being talked about with the coaching opportunity. This is if you're trying to build a business and build a team, you need to be talking to people about the coaching opportunity. That's challengers to become discount coaches, or other moms or women that you know that might be interested in making money. You never know who's looking for an opportunity. There was somebody just before I came on here, I was scrolling Facebook because that's what I do. And one of my friends that's a missionary, she's really into fitness. And I've been thinking for the past week and a half, man, I really need to invite her because she's always commenting on all of my stuff. But I had that moment of fear and doubt. And I was like, no, she's a missionary. She's not going to want to. I made an excuse in my head about why she wouldn't want to, and I didn't invite her. And today I was looking through her thing, and she said, I'm thriving at church. And there's like this big nasty patch on her arm. I don't know how many of you guys have heard about that company Thrive, but it's an MLM with, I don't know, all these crazy chemicals and stuff that like get absorbed through your skin. And they're supposed to be giving you vitamins and weird things. But I don't know how natural something could just get. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a fan of it. Anyway, and here she is promoting that. And I'm like, holy freaking crap, I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. I should have invited her. She was looking for an opportunity and I missed the boat. I'm still going to talk to her. But I felt like an idiot. That was like a total fail for me. I saw it and I was like, Lisa, I hate you. Like, should have done it and I didn't. And I made an excuse in my brain. And now she's not a part of Beachbody, and she could be on this call right now learning and being incredible. And then add 3 people to your Facebook friend list a day. This is so easy for me. So a lot of times I leave it until last, but it's also easy to leave off because you think, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. So I try to put it in the middle somewhere, just so I don't forget to do it, because it's just really easy for me to go to like one of my really good friends and just look through her friends list and see if there's common friends that I've met that I just forgot that I knew. And I'll be like, oh, this person, oh, I haven't seen them in a while, and this person. But I can also get really distracted with that. So be careful if you get distracted on Facebook or Instagram or any of those really easily. Be careful with this one. You may want to put it towards the end because you can easily be like, oh, I haven't seen this person in forever. And then you just start scrolling their news feed. And so, yeah, cuidado with that. And then check into your challenge groups. I try to do my posts in the evening before, so I don't have to worry about doing it first thing in the morning. I get up between 7 and 8 every morning, mostly 7. But I'm in Central Time Zone. So my people, that's already 8 o'clock if they're in Eastern Time Zone. And my people, a lot of them are up, at 5 or 6 o'clock. And so I just need to get them done ahead of time. So I do that. And then sometime during the day, this is like the cracks of my day, honestly. If the kids are playing and I'm sitting on the floor, a lot of times that's when you'll notice, if you're in my challenge group, that's when you'll notice I go in and start commenting on things and liking things. And then I'll do it again at the end of the day, right before I put my post up for the next day. Respond to messages. This one I got really bad for a while about putting off. I'd be like, oh, I'll do that later because it's easier to do from the computer than on my phone. And so I would put it off. So now I've made it a part of my day where I actually break it up into half. I try to do it midday if I'm at home. So the weekends, this does not happen, but midday on Monday through Thursday. And then I'll do it again in the evening while I'm working, unless it's a night that I don't work. Then it waits 24 hours until the next midday. On the weekends, I shut down a little bit. I only do things like once a day. I'm really low key. If you notice, I don't post a whole lot on the weekends either. Just, a couple things here or there, and then that's it. Except for Sunday nights. I blow it up on Sunday nights. Follow up with your previous contacts. This is the following up portion. This is the easy one for me because I pretty much copy and paste. I write one person and then copy and paste and just edit it for each person. It's super easy. And this, like a couple times a month, I'll set up with my list for the program of the month. So like once a week or so, I'll go in and take a section of that list so I don't have to do it all at once. and I'll take a section of like, okay, all these people want PIO. So I'll go through and I'll be like, hey, this is on sale. And I'll, again, copy and paste. It's super fast. Check your back office, read breaking news, and message new customers. This is really quick too. I go in every day, just look through the news feed. Usually there's only one or two things, if anything. And then I check the little alerts that's down at the bottom left-hand part. Make sure that there's no emails. This is when I see when there's new coaches, so I know when you guys are adding coaches to our downline. I look to make sure none of my people have, like if I put links out for coaching, look to see if they have been added so I can contact them and get them started, right? All of that stuff. Check your coach Facebook group and connect with your coaches. This is important just, you know, for our team. Make sure you're connected. I try to throw in good resources. If you're looking for some good personal development, like on the road, I try to throw in videos pretty often in there. And I know Becca does a good job of that too. And then check your training groups and do the assignment. It's really, really easy when you're in training groups to go, oh, I'll do that later, and then completely miss it. And like, what's the point of signing up for a training if you're not going to do it? So, and then this is last, and this is if I have time for it. I'm going to be honest, and like 98% of the time, I do not do this. Schedule my post for the next day. I may think of like one or two, but most of the time I don't. However, if you're on a really tight schedule, you're a teacher or something where you're like literally going all day long, you may want to take some time to do this, or at least come up with topic ideas like, okay, in the morning, I'm going to post this. At lunch, I'm going to post this. When I get home from school, this, and then this before I go to bed, for instance. Right here, I wanted to talk about Caramel Daly. I'm trying to find her thing. She actually did a really good breakdown on the Team BTFP call last week of her day when she's now retired from school. However, she wasn't always, and she did a really awesome breakdown of her day. I asked her if she would tell me, because I know like Jackie works at a school, Jen works at a school, Beth works at a school, Rebecca works at a school, like a bunch of you guys do. So she said that she did not get up early to do a power hour, because she already got up at 5 as it was, and she was not going to do that. So she spent 15 minutes right before she went out the door. Like, she did all of her stuff, and then she got done, and she spent 15 minutes right before going out the door to check in with her challenge group and do a morning fitness or progress post. And she said it was easy to keep herself to 15 minutes because she had to leave at a certain time, or she wouldn't get to school on time. So she just set an alarm, and then when that time was done, it was done. And whatever she got done, she got done. And then she listened to personal development on her drive to and from work, and then also during her planning hour at school. And she said that she had like a really long drive. I think it was like an hour long between dropping off. Oh no, she doesn't have kids. It was like an hour long for whatever reason. And so she said she could get a ton of personal development in during that time and still have time to decompress after school if she needed to. And then she sat in her room during lunch. She didn't go to the teacher's lounge. And then she just ate her lunch at her desk while responding to messages. And then that's when she would spend the rest of her time after responding to messages and getting that important stuff out of the way. She would spend the rest of the time liking and commenting on her prospects posts. She had a list that she would keep with her. And then she expanded her market during that time by requesting friends of people she knew and friends of friends. She also made sure not to take work home, and she stopped grading papers at home. She said she was an AP teacher for English, and she's like, you can only imagine the amount of homework I used to have just from papers and stuff. And so she stopped assigning them as many papers and started assessing them doing more stuff in school. And whatever she couldn't grade at work, she said, you know what, they're only paying me for this many hours. I'm not getting paid more by taking this stuff home. And so she said that her students did just as well on it, you know, for testing and stuff like that. She didn't like lower her quality of teaching, but she just like changed her way of assessing. So she wasn't assigning as many like large papers and stuff like that. And then in the evening, she would do her big posts for the day. she would message people back and then do all of her invites in the morning because she had a lot more focused time. She didn't have kids. So, she would usually spend a couple hours in the evening doing that, working on our team, all kinds of stuff. So I hope that helps as far as the teacher perspective. And then tips for a successful power hour. Scrolling. Do not fall victim to the news feed. It's a time suck and you will waste so much time. Wait until your daily activities are done and then catch up on everybody's lives. That's why a lot of times I leave the adding people to my market till the end, because then I can sit there and scroll and look through their stuff. And then I feel like a really big rock star if I happen to message them, because I'm like, I just did extra. Boom. Using social media strategically. Remember that it's not a place to complain anymore. Now you're sharing with a purpose. The reason why you're on Facebook isn't the same reasons you were on Facebook when you were in college. It's not to share, pictures of you out partying and drinking, or, finding out what the next cool event is necessarily. It's more a matter of trying to share with a purpose, inspire, and then build your dreams. Ask yourself before you post. I've tried to get in this habit because now I'm going through, I get, my Facebook memory things. And sometimes I look and I'm like, why did I ever post that? Like, what was I thinking? So now I try to ask myself, is this helpful? Is it positive and inspiring? Does it speak to my target audience? And if not, is it at least funny? Like if it's not one of those 4 things, then I don't post it. There's like no good reason. Turning off notifications. Don't be distracted by Facebook notifications. Turn the little red flags off. They'll wait. They'll be there for you the next time you log in, I promise. It's only going to sidetrack you if you're chasing the notifications while you're trying to do focus work, or seeing those little, pop-up things. Like, don't click on the pop-up. Even if it's something that you just wrote on and somebody else is writing on it, like, it'll be there later. It'll be okay. Unplugging. You're not a slave to your phone or your computer. Make sure you turn off your Facebook messages and notifications on your phone. The flags will still be there when you log on to work later on in the day. This is something that I learned probably 2 months into coaching or so. All throughout the day, I felt like I had my phone in my hand all day. Like it was getting drained and I have to plug it back in. And then I was annoyed because I was like hooked over by, the plug. But you're not a slave to your computer or your phone. Like just because somebody's asking you a question, it doesn't mean that you have to respond right that very second. That's what follow up and responding to messages the next day is for. People don't expect an immediate response. And so when you're with your kids, you're with your kids. You're honoring that priority in your life. When you're with your spouse, you're with your spouse. When you're doing ministry or you're working at your other job, you're teaching and you're pouring into those students' lives, that's what you're doing. Stay focused on whatever your main goal is for that moment. That's why you made that schedule, so you don't feel bad about any of the other stuff. There doesn't need to be overlap throughout your day. If you're playing at the park with your kids, play at the park with your kids, be present wherever you are. They don't want to see you with your nose in your phone. Like you guys have all sat with somebody at dinner with their nose in their phone and you're like, oh my gosh, do you even care about what I'm saying? Like, do you even care? And that's the last thing we want for our loved ones. So here's a fun power hour challenge. I'm not a fan of these. You've probably seen this one go around for a while, but it's a good idea as far as timing things. Even if you want to try this one exactly one time, you don't have to, but power hour challenge, break it down into segments. And if you see, it says start, you get your list out, you get on your computer, and then you start your clock. And literally some days, if I'm like really tight for time, for instance, Saturday morning, we were trying to get out of the house to leave and run errands, but I knew I needed to get some work done before we left. And so I told Josh, I'm like, okay, just give me an hour. And he goes, okay. So I set an alarm on my clock and I will like set, okay, it goes off and I got to change to the next thing, whether I'm in the middle of something or not. It's frustrating for my personality because I like to do everything perfectly and like on time and thoroughly and all of that, but set set timers if you need to. So for the first 5 minutes, you copy and paste a pre-made post and then ignore all notifications. You're turning them off. You're not even looking at them, all of that stuff. Then for 10 minutes, you go to 3 new people's profiles, you like and comment, and then catch up with them. Again, you're not talking about Beachbody here. And then you mark a follow-up date on your contact list. Just write it down really fast. Then you take another 15 minutes, and you go into your messages and then funnel down all those messages. This is when I also get back to you guys. If you guys are messaging me, if I try to get back to you in the moment if I can, but if I'm busy, I'm busy, and it's my priorities. So I love you all, but some things come before. And then, so a lot of times I'll get back to the ones that I know I can answer really fast. Yes or no questions, quick answers, all of that. If they need links, then I'll save them, but make sure you mark them unread, and then I'll do them on the computer, or I'll do them later, depending on what I'm doing, like where I'm working from. Go to your challenge group and then like, post, and comment, do all of that stuff, because you need to be interacting with your challengers. If they don't see that you care, they're not going to be as invested. If they're not as invested, they're not long-term customers, and they're not seeing real life change. If they're not seeing real life change, then people think, oh, that Beachbody doesn't work. But it does work as long as you work for it. And then 10 minutes, go to your team page, scan for news, announcements. I'll be the first one to say that I read everything that's on our coach page. I've been in the Team BTFP page since I first started, and I used to read every single thing that went through there. I don't have time for it now. I don't make time in my life for it. That can waste a lot of time. If you notice, I comment on a few things that I happen to see really fast, but I don't comment on every single thing there. It'll kill my time. I don't have time for it. However, if you see some things, comment it if you know, but do 5 minutes. You really don't need to spend your whole life reading every single thing and every question that everybody writes and all of that stuff. It's a newbie mistake and time suck. And then finish. Make sure you're updating all your contact lists with notes, and then brain dump a to-do list for the next day. Or if you have more time later that day. So here's your action items. These are the things that I want you to do between now and the next team call. Schedule a time to sit down with your spouse between now and Wednesday. Why Wednesday? Because Thursday starts the next Beachbody week. Discuss your priorities and goals, and then set our priorities together and set some goals. If your spouse is on board, remember, if you set these goals together, he'll be more likely to be on board with doing them. Why are you working tonight? Because remember how we said we're going to set aside so much money for our vacation next year? I got to work towards that. Oh yeah, okay, go ahead. Or now Josh is like, hey, you need to work tonight? Yeah. So even when I'm not necessarily feeling like it, I'm tired, he's like, hey, don't you need to work tonight? I'm like, yeah, you're right, I do. Okay, I'll get on. And then create a schedule that honors those priorities, all of those priorities. Whatever they happen to be, if they're clubs you're a part of, whether it's the church and the ministry that you're doing, whether it's your family, if you're taking care of sick family members, whatever it may be, make sure you're honoring your priorities. It's what keeps you happy and healthy. Otherwise, you'll get burned out. And then make sure you stick to that for at least a week. I know a lot of us like to try a schedule, and then we're like, oh crap, I don't really like this. It doesn't work. And in 2 days, then you're trying something else. And a lot of times after trying a couple things, if you feel like it doesn't work, then you just won't try it at all because the whole idea didn't work. That's not it. Try it for a whole week, see what works, what doesn't, and if you need to readjust, make the changes. And then every month, take some time. I suggest at the end of the month, before the month starts, take some time to rework your schedule and look at your current priorities. That means also taking a few minutes to talk to your spouse and see what they think. Because each month, I don't know about you guys, but each month our financial situation changes. Each month our family life changes as far as how often Josh is going to be gone because of the church, or now itinerating too. How many weeks are we going to be traveling? What, I may have to work more in the evenings to account for that weekend travel, or however that may be. Or if he's gone more during the weeknights, I've got to switch some things around, and I may even have to find childcare during the day some days so that I can just make sure I get all my work done. So do what you need to do. and honor your current priorities. I think this will really help you guys stay focused and get the things done that you need to get done without feeling overwhelmed and stressed. And then all of those things cause burnout, and nobody wants to be burnout and not enjoy what they do anymore. So I'm going to stop the recording, and if